Hello, happy and smart developers. Welcome to the coding board. This is series of what is IT industry and this is part 3. So let's begin the session. But before starting today's session, I want to revise last two sessions. In first session, we have learned what is IT industry, how IT industry is divided in 5 architecture and 3 development layers. In second session, we have learned what is layer and what is tier. And today we are going to learn why we use tier and why we use layer. So please pay attention. Why we use layer architecture. If we implement layer architecture, then we increase our application's efficiency like security, manageability, scalability, other need like after developing application we need to change DBMS or modify business logic etc. Then because each layer is separated from one and another, that's why we can easily change database management system without touching other two layers of the application. In this way, overall, with the help of layered architecture, we can increase efficiency of our application. Now, let's move on. Why we use tier architecture? Because physically implementation of each layer gives a better efficiency. Let me repeat once again because it is very important point. We have already learned layer is a logical unit and tier is a physical unit. Because physically implementation of each layer gives a better efficiency, we use tier architecture. One important note here, without layer architecture we cannot implement tier architecture. Now, separate machine to implement separate tier. Separate machine to implement separate tier, and separate tier is implementing one or more layer. That's why we use tier architecture. Now, tier architecture is used for the purpose of fault tolerance. For the purpose of fault tolerance, that is easy to maintain. Now, let's understand with one example. Just like a bank open in a chamber, their employees are gatekeeper, cashier, a person for cash, a person who is responsible to introduce banking schemes, and manager, then loan and mortgage officer. Employees are the related components of the bank. If we going to bank for loan purpose, then first a gatekeeper opens the door with smile. After that we goes to near a person that introduces to all schemes. If we going to bank for loan purpose, then first a gatekeeper open the door with smile. After that we goes to near a person that introduced to all scheme of loan. After that we goes to manager cabin and pass the loan. Manager will pass the loan. After that finally we goes to cashier's account to take loan. These are layer architecture of bank. These are layer architecture of bank. Understood? So this is one simple example where one bank is open. Here employees are gatekeeper, cashier, a person who is responsible to introduce banking scheme, a manager, and loan and mortgage officer. And our need is we need a loan. So we are following one process where each person is allocated for performing particular responsibility. For fulfilling particular need of the customer. So this is one example I have taken to explain layers. Okay, now let's move on. What about tier? A bank's branch open in a town, after that in another town, after that in another. But what is the basic requirement of each branch? Gatekeeper, person for cash, a person who is responsible to introduce banking scheme, and manager. These are basic requirement of each branch. So this is example of tier where each branch is one tier, and the people who are related to that bank are component of that bank. Who are those? Gatekeeper, a person for cash, a person who is responsible to introduce banking scheme, and manager. So branch is a tier and their employees are layers. Note, above example is exactly the same concept of layer and tier. I hope you have understood why we use layered architecture and why we use tier architecture. And without layer architecture, there is no tier architecture. That's it in this session. Let's meet in another session. Thank you.